Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
Elevation.
Elevation who?
Elevation. Elevation of the mind. Elevation.
Always remember to always elevate to your next level. Never allow anybody to make you feel less than, unworthy, or anything else. Always remember to elevate because you're an elevation of the room. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the I Am Virtual Book Tour. And today we have two special guests in the building. Yes, not one, but two. And also, happy Women Equality Day to everyone as well. If you didn't know, today's the day we got our rights to vote. So we have, pronounce it correctly, it's Tanicia. Tanicia and Collen in the building. So Tanicia, can you please tell everybody who you are and where you're from?
Yeah, so as you said, I'm Tanicia and I'm from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So this is the area where I'm from, and I currently live near the Fort Worth area.
Nice.
Yeah.
Collen, can you tell us who you are and where you're from?
Hello, my name is Collen Rennie, and I'm from Boston, Mass.
All right, ladies. Now tell me, well, did y'all always wanted to be a writer, or did it just happen to be something that folded in after life transitions? And I'll start with Collen.
Exactly, life transitions. I never thought about being a writer. I wanted to be a criminal justice for juveniles, but the way my life took a turn for the worse, I figured I just better start writing and documenting what happened to me, which I can teach others how I got out and how they can also get out.
Absolutely. Tanicia?
So I was younger and I always wrote. That was sort of a passion of mine, but it was kind of like, just torn in between, decisions. So just after a time of not writing, I actually went to school for computer science. So that's more the field that I still work in now, but my main passion is writing. So.
All right now. So what book are we speaking about today, Tanicia?
So the book we're speaking about today is called God's Celestial Network. And this book basically talks about how I just stated that I work in the IT field. It pretty much explains how we're like devices, right? And so God created all of us, like even us women that are on this this podcast now. He created us for a particular purpose, but it just kind of breaks down how from our creation until now, right? And just plugging it in with the age of technology, how we've been taken off course. And a lot of times we're not sure how that happens. It can be words that's been spoken over our lives or someone that may have, just been used as an instrument, right? To cause us to go in the wrong direction. So the goal of this particular book is to pretty much show how we are devices. We have a purpose. We have a reason why we're here, but we have to get realigned and back to God, to the mind of God. And so it's pointing everyone back to God and, again, getting those devices set up properly so we can be properly aligned.
Absolutely.
So I think it'd be good, like relating to this age of technology that we're in.
Right.
Definitely believe like the technology we're on right now, anyone should be able to relate to it because we're using technology every day.
Absolutely. Shucks. Listen, COVID came and I had to learn a lot about technology.
Right.
So absolutely.
So it's like we were forced into it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm used to the pen and paper. I'm used to going out selling the books. I had to revert to the virtual world as far as selling books, doing speaking engagements. So yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
It
was a change.
It was.
Yeah,
It
sure.
was. Collen, what book are we talking about today?
We're talking about From Bitter and Broken to Beautiful and Blessed. And that's because too many of us, we're still living in our traumas. And I had to just get out of that. It was too much about domestic violence and sexual abuse. And it's like too many of us, including myself, we're just stuck right there. Right. So my goal now is just to show people how you can come out of it and how I went from bitter and broken to beautiful and blessed.
All right, now listen. Yes, that is so true. A lot of times, self sabotage, and we get stuck into things that happen. So we have to find the way of finding the beauty in the trauma. It's
Yes,
not easy, but we have to find a way to find beauty in the trauma in order to remember that, just like broken crayons, we can't color again.
right.
So absolutely. Now, a lot of times when we tend to write, we some of us use it as therapeutic. It's a way of releasing some things. Now, as both of y'all wrote the books that y'all write, what did you learn about yourself as you went through this writing process? And I'm gonna start with Colleen.
I learned that I'm strong. Like recently, I've been listening to my books audio. I just walk around the house and I let it play. And I'm like, wait a minute. Even yesterday, I was like, wait a minute, what? Hold on, what? Who said that? And I'm like, I've been through that. Like, it was a shock to see where I came from. So it was therapeutic, and it just shows me that I came from a long way. And I'm very, very proud of myself to see where I came from. And I'm going to keep going.
That's the goal. Definitely keep going. Hashtag I'm stronger.
Yes.
And I can say, just a segue in, that I've learned, especially during writing, I always just looked at myself as someone that was just putting pen to the pad, right? So never seeing myself as anything higher, with a title like an author or a writer. So I began to really understand my purpose, especially with this book that I just wrote, the God Celestial Network, because it began to give me understand that I do have a sense of identity. I have a reason why I'm here. And so it's like it took a little bit for me to receive, you know what, I am an author. I am a writer. I can reach out and touch other people. I do have a purpose, right? And so that's the thing that I think really stuck out to me. Even sometimes when I go and read it, it just helps me to just see that I have an identity and I have a purpose. And that was really a blessing for me.
So I tend to ask this question as well. Sometimes we find negative things about ourselves in the process of writing. We shed the onions, but we also have to learn our flaws. Name one thing you felt during your writing career so far that you've learned about yourself that you a negative, I would say a challenge that you may be working on. And I will start with Tanicia.
Good. So one of the challenges that I've noticed is sometimes I have the tendency to just want to give up, right? So, we have this sin that says, you trust in the process. And anything that we do, there is a process and it takes time, especially as an author or a writer. You have to write it out, type it up, get everything edited, formatted. So for me, it's just the continual of I always wanted to give up, but I just kept on here and keep going. And that really encouraged me because as I looked up, keep going, it just meant to persevere. And I know that we're called to persevere even in the midst of our writing or anything that we're doing. We want to see it come to pass.
Hashtag persevere, everybody. Hashtag
Persevere.
persevere.
Yes.
Hashtag persevere.
Hashtag persevere. Yes.
Yes. Colleen.
Through my trials, it's like I've always blamed myself. From every book I wrote, it's me. I know it's me. It's me. I blame myself for the past 40 something years. And my husband always remind me, it's not you. It's not you. It's taking time for me to stop blaming myself. But then it's like, it's not you. It's really not you. So just even writing, about to write, continue writing, no matter what I do, I have to remember I was not the problem. I was a part of it, but it was not me. But now I know how to stop blaming myself and just accept myself for what happened. And right, Tanisha, persevere. Yes.
Hashtag persevere.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that one.
That is great. And, we do have to remember that, walking through that trauma, that it wasn't you. We did play a part, but we have to remember that, the part that we played, it was allowing people in those situations to basically disrespect us, or we allowed the situations to happen because it was something else that was missing. But remember that as long as you take your accountability, your part, and start setting your boundaries, it will never be your fault ever again.
That's good. I mean, and sometimes the trauma happens, right? Even when we're so young. I know I dealt,
Right,
know a lot of
right,
people get the childhood trauma. So
right.
it's like you are the victim and not the
Them,
victimizer. And so
right,
something I've learned with that also is in the trauma or the things that we've gone through is I've learned not only just a perseverance, but I can say this year I've learned also that like you're saying, taking the accountability and also putting aside my victim mindset,
right,
because I started to feel like if I have so much trauma or anything, right, like someone owe me something. And so it's
right.
good, as you write it out or however, you're able to just get it off your chest and then allow God to come in and heal you. There's definitely healing in that place.
Yes. And people have to remember you have to do the work. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to just happen overnight either.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people forget that the work has to be done to become to the other side of the beauty in the trauma or the beauty in the madness of the toxicness or the beauty in whatever the mist of the storm could be.
Mm-hmm.
We still have to do the work and play our parts. Because
That's
if
true.
we're not playing our parts, we start to add more fire to the fuel of what already started. And we're just putting pile ups on top of everything else that was under it. So we have to be ready to unpack. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we keep that package ready in the closet, packed up, but we never unpack to get rid of it.
Mm.
That's right. Yeah. I like
So I do too. Next question for you. So what's next for Tanisha? Like, what is you wrote this book. What is next within the next year for Tanisha?
So within the next year, I can even forecast it, for the rest of this year. We have an event that's coming up September this year for anyone that's in the Dallas area. And it's along the lines of like what we're talking about tonight. The event is called Redefining Me. And I'm reading just an excerpt from the God Celestial Network book where it talks about our identity, being disjointed and how we have to have it restored. But in that, again, houses the trauma, and the different things, right, that we've gone through, but getting that identity restored. So that's our September event. And then we have a big networking event that's planned in Dallas as well. And that's going to be in Las Colinas area at one of our, the top hotels here. And we have all of our information on our website. So those are some of the things that we have coming forward. Also working with a cookbook, have a young lady that's producing a cookbook and just different projects that are coming forward. So it's like once I started to get into that momentum, begin to see that gift come forward, it's a lot in the kitchen.
It
But those are
is.
the main things that are coming up.
It is. Sometimes the pot start cooking and you be like, all right, I gotta start the cooking over here,
Yeah.
but then I gotta jump over here to get in some dabbles. So
Yeah.
definitely, when the kitchen start going, it starts brewing.
Hmm.
Colleen, what's next for you?
What's next for me is like you were saying, we got to put in the work. So for me, I'm working on faith without work is dead because I was praying. I just wasn't doing the work. I just expected it to just happen. So now I know for the rest of 2022, I'm going to be working extremely hard. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Everybody knows I'm an author in Boston. So I'm going to be doing a lot of speaking engagements, teaching women about the red flags, teaching women how to go from bitter and broken to beautiful and blessed, and working on a couple more books that's coming up. My main thing is just letting a lot of women feel like when they've been abused, that's it. So I'm working on this book. It's called Love After Abuse, and it's how finding love in the middle of your mess. And that's how my husband found me, broken and damaged, and he just accepted me anyway. So that's my goal, to teaching women that there is love after abuse.
Yes. So, what do y'all ladies do in your spare time without writing? Because a lot of times we use writing and writing is work. But what else do y'all do? Like, what else is on y'all plate? And I'm gonna start with Colleen.
I'm a boring chick. I'm really laid back. I just love to read. I just read like, just don't come to my room. I'm always reading. I read. I just buy books and I just read. That's just me. I was working, but God made it a way for me to just stay at home. And now I just read. I really read. I watch TV. I do a lot more writing. I'm not an outside person. I'm just taking it slow. I'm laid back, humble, read, pray, write. That's it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's a good
Tanisha.
combination.
Right.
So I of course, I told you about our. I told
I
y'all.
remember that.
So in my spare time, again, like you said, I like to read. But then before COVID, I was working from home, right? So I still work from home, doing IT. So still had that on the side. But my main passion has really just been the writing and just being able to, look into publishing, different things like that. And like you said, reading. So Colleen, I like to hear, I know you're a writer. She said she like to read. I'm definitely going to have to get a book sent over to her, one of the books.
Yep.
Yes,
And
I love to
but
read.
say Colleen is a poet too.
Oh, yeah. I got to
Yeah,
connect with
look, she didn't drop those nuggets, but she's a poet.
that. So that's good. Yeah.
All right. So, ladies, there is someone out there that's trying to figure out how to get into writing, how to embrace who they are. Drop them a motivational conversation, how to empower them to, just do what they need to do as far as to put the pen to the paper.
Go ahead,
Colleen.
Tanicia, I'm waiting.
Okay, I go. I don't want to. So that's the main thing that I encourage them to do is to put the pen to the paper and write. Everyone has a book in them, but it's about getting started. And I think that's the main fear is, where do I start? How do I start? And you start by just journaling your thoughts with pen and paper, and from that, that one journal or composition book that can be just, you'll see that project come forward in the actual book. And so it starts with just writing.
Colleen.
Same thing. Don't ever let anybody tell you what you can and can't do. Just start writing. People are going to try to discourage you. You shouldn't write a book. It's not going to make sense. Everybody has an author in them. They really do. I never thought I was going to be an author. And I already finished 4 and I'm working on 4 more. So don't ever let nobody tell you what you can and what you cannot do. Keep writing. Keep your head up. Stay focused. Know that this is what you want to do.
Tanisha, someone said they are waiting to receive your book. I can't tell because it just says Facebook user, so you probably have to go in later. But somebody's waiting to get your book.
Oh yeah, they got to give us. I see it. Yeah, it does just say Facebook user.
Yeah,
but yeah, whoever they are, let us know. Get the link to order. Go to remnantpub.com. We
there
have
you
all
go.
our books on there, so you go to remnantpub.com, and we have the ebook and paperback. It's available right now. But Colleen, that really encouraged me. Like, what you just said also is just don't let anybody discourage you and to keep going. And then you wrote 4 books so far. And then, like she said, you're a poet. So that's encouraging for me, so just to keep going.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of times when you start it, it may look like it's just, when you first putting out a book, it looks like dry air because you got to gain your followers and find your tribe and figure out who your audience is. But a lot of times, like she said, you have to just keep going regardless on what it looks like. If it's one person reading your book, if it's 20 people reading your book, just keep going because even it's going to be days that you might not have sales. And it's going to be days, it might be months. You might have nothing going. But the more you go and believe in your vision, then the people that is for you will be there. Your tribe will come. But I've learned from matter of fact from motivational speaker Eric Thomas. He's always said you got to show up 100% every time, regardless on what it looks like. If you got 1 or if you got 1,000, just show up. And that's how I've learned how to do it. Because I'm 3 books in on my own and I'm 25 plus on collaboration.
Wow.
So I've learned to just keep going, irregardless on what it looks like.
Right.
That's that hashtag perseverance right there.
Yes.
Keep going. I'm telling y'all, we got to make that persevere. Yeah, that's good.
Yes. It's definitely, it takes work because there was points where, like you said, you want to give up. You're not sure. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't look like this, but as long as you keep going and you got to be able to pour into yourself. You got to be able to market yourself. You got to be able to put money into yourself because there's people that thinks everything's supposed to be free. Everything in life, if you can't invest in yourself, how you expect somebody else to invest in you? And the main thing is if they see you believing in your vision, the people that see you, because there's people watching you. When you think there's nobody's watching, there is several people watching. They just quiet about it. And it's the longer you continue to know that you can invest in your dream, because they wasn't sitting at the table when this dream was designed.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to show them how much that dream is and how much it really means.
Wow.
Because then that's when the tribe starts coming, and then that's when everybody's there. They understand. And you got to be able, you got to be able to learn your market too, because not everybody's your customer.
Mm. That's true.
So, those are a few things too. And my friend Julie said marketing is definitely a huge factor, which is true. Learning the marketing and learning how to pour into yourself, learning how to invest in you,
Mm-hmm.
it goes a big deal. It's a lot, because you gotta. One thing with me is consistency. Always
Mm-hmm.
knowing, just continuing to show up, even when it looks like nobody's listening, nobody's watching. Continue to show up. That's
Mm-hmm.
the major thing. Showing up even when people ain't showing up for you. You got to show up for you
So for
first.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's good. I'm taking
So,
that in.
any tips to anybody, any marketing tips? Drop about 2 marketing tips to someone out there that might need some marketing help. And I will start with Colleen.
You always picking on me.
I'm not.
Marketing tips. My
Yeah.
marketing tips is I do a lot of research. I need to know who's out there. I need to know how they did it. And I just do it totally different. I actually walk with my whatever my book is, Know Your Worth, Stop. That's how I market myself. I have this thing that I just started doing where I'm walking to work with my book. So people are gonna be like, oh, who wrote that? Me. There
Mm-hmm.
you go, business card. So I market myself, I promote myself, I push myself, and nobody's gonna nobody's gonna know how to work for you but you. And the same way she said, sorry, the same way Miss Juanita has said, you gotta want it for yourself if you want somebody else to want it for you as well.
Mm.
So those are just my 2 tips.
Tanisha.
And I think my two tips that I've learned so far is sort of along the same lines of just going out there in spite of, you know, who's in favor of or who isn't. If God has called you to it, then
Mhm.
he will see you through, right? And so I just that's the main factor. It's like nobody can separate you from God or stop you from doing what He's called you to do, and investing in yourself. That's another thing that I'm learning. Like you said with the marketing, like invest in yourself, spend money on yourself. I can't expect somebody else to go and spend money on me if I won't even spend money on myself in the things that I'm marketing. That it can be at a high, high value, high quality to even give over to the customers.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna give y'all a minute to tell people what do you expect them to get out of y'all books to y'all viewers, and I'm gonna start with Tanisha.
Okay. So out of the God Celestial Network book, I expect my viewers to be able to have their mind realigned back with God. And so, again, as we spoke about at the beginning of this podcast, our mind is very important. And when we get it back connected with God, He's able to use us. We'll then understand our purpose. We'll understand everything that we're called here to do because we're all here for a time such as this. And so that's why I expect all of my viewers and readers to get out of this book is just to be able to get reconnected back to God and allowing Him to birth His purpose in you.
Colleen.
What I expect people to get out of my book, it's choosing you. It's healing. It's just not knowing, it's just knowing that you're not by yourself. So my book is basically about just becoming a better person, a better version of you. And my point of it is just writing to let people know where I came from and where I am right now. And you can do the same thing as well.
All right. So, ladies, tell everybody how to connect with y'all, how to book y'all, how to get in touch with y'all, how to be able to get all the books that y'all have written or be able to work with y'all in any way possible. And I will start with Tanisha.
So you can access all of our books and our ebooks on remnantpub.com. So REMNANT pub.com. And there we have our own store catalog. You're able to download all of our books and ebooks that we have available. And then to access me, I have my website, which is tanprelow.com. So that's TANPRELOW.com. Prioleau.com. And so, of course, that's the site where you can reach out to me. And then, of course, the other site with our books and our publishing.
Colleen.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram as Colleen Williams Rennie. All my books are available on Amazon.com. It's very simple. Twitter, Empress Colleen. Facebook, Colleen Williams Rennie. Instagram, Colleen Williams Rennie.
All right, ladies, leave the people with something inspirational for the weekend or for the rest of the month. And I'm going to start with Colleen.
In honor of Women's Equality Day, just remember, you have to know your worth. You have to know who you are. Always remember to put you first. Well, put God first, then put you first. And don't ever give up. Don't forget, #perseverance, #never give up.
That's good. And so I just want to say, in honor of what we're talking about today, even the trauma and different domestic violence, just want to remind the audience along those lines of perseverance is that God gives us beauty for ashes. I was reminded of that as you were talking about the ashes. And so anyone that feels like they're in a firestorm or they're broken down or they don't know which way to go, God is there to give them beauty. And so again, like we said, persevere, keep going, and don't give up.
Beautiful.
All right, ladies, it's been an honor, and I thank y'all for coming through to the I Am Virtual Book Tour. Everyone, I thank y'all for tuning in that's viewing now or later. I have been your host, Sheena, the lady behind the mask. As always, we will be back tomorrow with, I think, one other author tomorrow, and then I'll be back again on Sunday. Tune in all weekend to the I Am Virtual Book Tour. Tell a friend to come through, check out the authors, and y'all can always catch the replay. We've been going at this since Sunday, August 21st. So make sure y'all check them out. They have a lot to tell you, a lot of great information, and a lot of things to chat with y'all about. Thank you, and y'all have a great night.
Yes, well, thanks for having us.
Introducing to some and reintroducing to others. Speaker, entrepreneur, motivational coach, and author, Sheena Gadine. If you wish to contact her, you can contact her via email at sgradine16@gmail.com, or you can visit her website, www.theladybehindthemask.com.